obviously a number of misconceptions around being at an early stage startup, and I'm going to talk about a few of them. So the first is, of course, that you're going to be joining the next Google or the next Facebook. Here's the thing. When Google and Facebook were just getting started, and I at least can attest to Facebook because I was one of the very early users, they didn't know they were going to be the next Google or Facebook, right? It was very, very early in the game. It was like 7 to 10 years ago, right? So that's the thing to keep in mind is when you're in that early stage, you don't know. And you also don't want to have those founders who are telling you that, oh, we're going to be the next Google or Facebook. They don't have a crystal ball. They don't know either, right? So the reason why you join isn't because you're hoping that this is what will happen next, but you're hoping to learn, you're hoping to grow, and maybe you'll join something that will become large, but these companies take time, right? They take a very long time before they actually become large and make a global impact. So keep that in mind. Don't think it's going to happen overnight, and also don't let that stop you, right? You could very well be at a company that is going to be large, but in the early stages, it's often too soon to tell. There are a number of factors that play in. That early team certainly makes a difference. Funding makes a difference. What kind of market you're in also makes a difference. The other misconception is we're all going to become millionaires and billionaires, right? We're going to make tons of money in the process of joining the startup. Well, once again, kind of depends, right? If you are at a company like Instagram and you're one of the early employees, then sure, we're probably going to make a lot of money, right? But the reason I bring this up is because it depends on what number you are, obviously your position, and we'll get into that when we talk about equity. But I bring it up because this is actually a little bit of a false sense of motivation. If you're going in to work for a company thinking, I'm here to make a lot of money, chances are you're going to hate it. You'd be better off going to Vegas. Because the truth is, like I said, it's going to take many, many years to see a liquidity event, to see a company grow, to get customers, to get revenue, even to get funding. So you don't want to go in with this mindset of, I'm going to make a lot of money and that's why I'm joining, right? You want to go in with the mindset of, I'm here to learn, I'm here to catapult my career, and that's why I'm here to make a difference. There's also this misconception that you're always going to be working, right? 100 hours a week. Once again, I've come across a lot of different startups. I've known startups where people do work 100 hours a week. I've also come across some startups where people work 40, 50, 60 hours a week. And the founders are pretty open to that, and they're not working their team because they have that kind of culture. It's up to you to find those startups, but they do exist. So I want you to keep that in mind. In fact, I've probably come across a lot of startups that are much more balanced or have more flexible arrangements with their employees than a lot of larger companies where they kind of issue these ultimatums like, nope, you can't work from home, or you can only work from home like 1 or 2 days a week, or they're kind of constantly keeping an eye on how many hours you're in the office. So being at a startup affords you that flexibility, and the beauty of an early stage is you get to help with some of that culture. You get to have a say in how you want that to shape. So I've noticed a lot of startups today are getting more interested in having a remote team where people can work from home. They're putting in a lot of infrastructure so that there's good video conferencing, there's accountability, there are good handoff processes in place. And so it's making it so that people don't have to work 9 to 5 or 9 to 9 or whatever hours that they're being demanded, but they can instead set them and then still have the deliverables. They can still make progress on product. But like I said, it's kind of up to you to find them. They do exist. The next is you're going to work alone. Now, I think the new Decor team has done a really good job of highlighting that they don't work alone. They've got a great team. Now, if you're a founder and you're the only one in the company, then yeah, you are going to be working alone. But after some time, you're probably going to have advisors. You are going to have other employees, even contractors, even part-time or volunteers. So you're not really always working alone. In fact, sometimes it feels like you're never alone. And that's because you're working on the product. You have a goal, you have an end result, and you've got to actually collaborate with people. When I started working at Mint, I felt for the first time as an engineer that I wasn't alone. I had gone from being in a cubicle farm where I was working like 8-hour days to being with a team of 2 other people where we were constantly communicating. And we were talking about what we needed to do on the front end and the back end and what our users wanted and what our investors were thinking about. So it didn't feel like I was ever alone in that time period, and I still got some time to actually do my work, so it's not all chatty all the time. But I think this is another misconception that you're going to have to be working alone. So if you're someone who prefers to collaborate, likes to work on teams, likes to have that intimate team setting, then this is another great place to do it. It's in those early stages. Now, another misconception is you need to have a lot of ideas, right? You're coming in, they expect a lot from you, they want you to figure things out, you've got to solve all the problems because you're like the main engineer, you're the main designer or product person or marketing person. Sure, they want you to have some ideas, but it's not like the entire fate of the company is resting on your shoulders, right? You certainly need to be capable of learning and contributing, but it's not like you have to come up with all of the light bulb moments, right? So keep that in mind. Really what people are looking for is to hire those that are capable, that have an aptitude and have an appetite to actually want to go out and learn and to contribute and aren't afraid to say, hey, I don't know, I've got to go figure this out, I've got to go talk to my network, I've got to go do some research.